Hi everyone, Ksenia here with the usual reading for the new moon in Cancer with our Moon Tarot talk. So as always, if you have been watching me before, welcome back, good to see you back. And if that's your first time, my name is Ksenia, and we just happen to have the same name with the owner of this channel, Kesenya, who is the astrologer, and I'm the tarot reader at her channel. So if you'd like to book a reading with me, if you resonate with my energy, with what I'm doing, I'll link in the the link to the bookings of my readings in the box down below. And in any way, I hope you will enjoy the talk today. So we celebrate the new moon in Cancer on the 9th, the 10th of July, depending on where you are in the world. And while I start shuffling, as always, just a quick message. When I was thinking what to talk about, for the introduction for this new moon, it kind of drew my attention that the moon is at 18 degrees Cancer, together with the sun, hence the new moon, and new moon is always our time to write intentions, to think what we'd like to achieve in the 2 weeks to come before the full moon, in the months to come, or in the half a year to come before the full moon in Cancer. And the interesting aspect, although this moon is very heavily aspected, the interesting aspect is that it is sextiling Uranus, and Uranus is sitting in Taurus. So it kind of and when I saw it in the chart, it made me think that probably the intention I would like to express for this moon is exactly the kind of what Uranus is doing, so to speak, the revolutionary change of our perception of the others, because when we think of it, Cancer is our collective fourth house, so it is the house of home, of family, of siblings, but also Cancer, it is this very much, and I don't know if I'm speaking because my mother is Cancer, but I think that the vibe of the Cancerian energy is very much this kind of all embracing and loving, very motherly energy. In tarot, as you all already know, if you've been watching my videos for a while, the card which symbolizes Cancer is the Chariot, and I'm using today the Shadowscapes tarot, and you can see on this card there is a little crab emerging from the waters. So it's a very watery card in this deck, which just perfectly shows what Cancer is about, how Cancer is emerging from the waters, and the beautiful charioteer is riding her chariot across the waves of the sea. And in tarot, this card, although it can mean basically whatever transport means would mean, so the advancement, the going from point A to point B, it also means sort of like divine protection and being in alignment and being in control of the two horses not in this card, but usually they're black and white horse, which mean that you have harnessed your dark instincts together with your more positive, more more light-oriented and kind of nobler part of your soul, if I may say so. And when I was thinking of it, I really started thinking of the connection of the Cancer with the moon. And I think we say like this in many languages, something like we can say about a person that, or he comes from a moon, and hence the name the lunatic, because Luna in Latin is the moon, same as in many Romance languages. In Russian it's Luna as well, so so we usually describe people who are different from us, like those aliens who come from the moon, and moon rules Cancer, hence the very smart pun I'm intending here. And it's a new moon, so it all clicks together. But the thing is that with the Uranus coming in and with the age of Aquarius kind of starting at the moment, I think that what definitely I started thinking in relation to this new moon is how can we make our environment more diverse. And I mean, obviously on the global scale, if we manage to do it on a global scale, to be all inclusive, to stop labeling people as being coming from the moon, or people who come from a different country, people who have different cultural background from us, if we stop distancing from them and kind of labeling them as different this would be, of course, in my opinion, a total paradise on earth. So the message, I think, that kind of this new moon specifically made me think about is that we are all different from each other, and this is actually something to be proud of, something to strive for. It's like, you know, because I'm a big, how to say, I'm very much opposing to conventions in general. I'm very much opposing to the society telling you how to live, because society has a very nicely concoctioned recipe for all of us. So you go to, especially like in Western, in richer societies, but basically, like, you know, pretty much everywhere you would go to school, like you receive education, and then straight away, like, you know, you can go to the university, but still you'd better create a family and have kids, you know. So it's very easy. No one encourages you to be different from the rest, like, you know, to pursue your dream, to say, no, I don't want this, I, like, you know, I want to be a cat lady, or I want to be child free, or I want to be on the opposite, a mother of 20, like, you know, and I want to be a single mother, like, you know, or I want to have a big family, like, you know. There's so many ways how we can express ourselves, and we are all so unbelievably different, and at the same time very often we are given only one recipe for all of us to follow, which is totally wrong, in my opinion. Yeah, whatever I'm expressing, it's my opinion, you have a right to disagree. But I started thinking that this new moon, the Cancer moon, which on the one hand embraces this all accepting, very caring, very loving, motherly nature, and the kind of notion of home as our collective fourth house. At the same time, with the tarot perspective, that it kind of provides us a road to advance. And the road to advance is by default a journey, and a journey is by default unique, because we absolutely cannot do the same journey. And this card also implies that we are journeying, we are forming our path in alignment with the divine protection, hence the Chariot. Yeah, the Chariot is the vessel that contains you. The Chariot would have a roof, and usually in tarot, and roof symbolizes the heavenly sphere, you know, it symbolizes the protection of the divine. And so we are free to choose our own journey, you know. And with this idea of the moon as representing something different, something eccentric, I think that it's a nice time to actually think of how we can actually be different from the others, how we can allow ourselves to be different, how we can embrace the other people being different, how we can invite more, I don't know, varied, even sometimes maybe eccentric, extremely artistic, like, you know, very out of the box people into our life, how we can channel this energy ourselves. Because, like, you know, I mean, especially during this new moon, because it has this powerful kick from the Uranus, and Uranus is this electric lightning. It's like, you know, it electrifies everything, it revolutions everything, it changes our perspective. The Uranus card in tarot, it's the tower, you know, when the lightning strikes and the tower collapses. And so I think this is what we can think of striving for the new moon in Cancer this time. It's basically to tell ourselves, yes, I'm different from them, and I'm proud of this. I'm different from them, and my friends are different from them, and my friends are different from me, and my enemies are different from me. And this is beautiful. This is brilliant that we all can, we are like, you know, we are like, I don't know, we're like those pieces of glass in kaleidoscope, and what makes it beautiful is that they are all of different shapes and different colors. And yeah, I suppose this is my short introduction. I will probably call this video something like, I'm different from them and I'm happy and I'm proud of this. Yeah. So so if this is something you would resonate to, because, like, I remember when I was a kid, I was struggling. I was so much struggling because I felt that I'm so much different from, like, you know, my peers, my schoolmates, what my parents expected me to be. And I got, like, you know, a massive sort of discomfort in my head, yeah, because I was thinking, okay, like, you know, I must be an alien. I felt like I came from the moon, to be honest. And That's why as an adult, I suppose, because I know where many people find themselves and where many of us come from, I think it's so important to provide this very Cancerian, chariot-y, homey environment and circle for people who dare to be different, right? I mean, this is beautiful after all. If you stay strong, if you don't like, you know, if you don't give up to the convention, to the ready recipe of how you should live your life. So I think that definitely for me, this moon would be speaking very much about liberation, about choosing your own path, and about accepting everything eccentric, everything weird, everything brilliantly different, you know. So I hope that this would be useful and supporting to hear, at least for some of you. And of course, my dream would be to build very inclusive community on a global scale. I don't think we would witness it in our lifetime, thinking where it's all going at the moment. But who knows, you know? Who knows? Sometimes changes, and especially with the Uranus involved, changes can be very, very unexpected. Changes can be very sudden. So we can only stay optimistic and hopeful. And with the reading, we start as always with the sign which is in spotlight, and it is Cancer, and I'm drawing 3 cards as usual. So Cancer, happy birthday Cancer. Yeah, to begin with, happy birthday Cancer, all of you who are born in July. I really hope that you had lovely celebration, or that you would celebrate soon with your loved ones and have a blast. And as usual, 3 cards for you. It is your first house, so it is the house which represents you, especially if Cancer is your rising. And the 3 cards that you got, the first one is 7 of Swords. Then it is 9 of Cups, fulfillment of wishes, this card is called. So if that's your case, congratulations. And the Magician. So speaking of those cards, frankly, it is like, you know, something you can if you haven't watched the introduction, please go watch. It's only 10 minutes, I think, and I think that the cards pretty much sum up what I was talking about there. So 7 of Swords. 7 of Swords means it can mean deceit, it can mean something done behind your back, so it can mean betrayal, it can mean you being impacted or affected by something which was done without you knowing about it. On the other hand, it also means unconventional ways. And yeah, if you haven't watched the introduction, I'm going to repeat. You are hosting the Sun and the Moon conjunct for the new moon at 18 degrees Cancer, and the moon is sextiling the Uranus and Taurus. When the moon is sextiling something, the sextile is a positive aspect, and the Uranus, you know, Uranus is the planet of revolution, of like, you know, sudden change, of something like, you know, unexpected coming to your life, like, you know, something coming and swirling it all and kind of shaking it all up. And 7 of Swords in this regard also means doing regular things in unconventional way, or just, you know, kind of getting your mind thinking actively of how you may change your situation, if that's what you're trying to do, of how you may change it using different non-conventional means, you know. So basically this card is also about kind of, if they don't allow you to come through the door, you would come through the window, you know, this type of thinking out of the box. But because this card is like, you know, it is on the darker side, maybe just be cautious, like, you know, don't be too graceful or too generous for this new moon, because maybe, like, you know, the unexpectedness brought in by Uranus, it doesn't necessarily need to be pleasant. It can also be like, you know, something surprising, something frustrating. And in this regard, your medicine, how to deal with it, it's actually accept it and start thinking out of the box and doing things in a way which you wouldn't be used to do. But on the other hand, you also get lots of support. It is, after all, Moon is the ruler of Cancer. Moon is in its own sign. Moon loves to be in Cancer. You got 9 of Cups. Yeah, so Cups, it's the suit of emotions, suit of feelings, suit of water. So it is your watery nature. Like in general, this moon is very much in very much supporting for you. And of Cups, I already said, that's the card which means fulfillment of wishes, and it also provides this kind of feeling of full vessel, you know, as you would imagine that everything is enough. And actually, maybe this is the trick of how you might start thinking in a new manner, you know. Speaking of, like, you know, inventive ways of accepting reality. 9 of Cups means, like, you know, that everything is fulfilled. Everything is so full, like all your cups, which can be, like, you know, 9, you name them, so I don't know, health, love, work, you know, creative expression, friends, like, and so on, that they're all full. But the reality is that they're rarely full. It's just our perception which changes the level of fullness, you know. It's either the glass is half full or half empty, you know. Probably they're all half empty, but if you trick yourself to think in an inventive way that they're all half full, then they will be full, and that's what's your fulfillment of wishes, you know. So even if it's, how to say, even if you know that something is lacking, you might like, you know, kind of concentrate on the good things instead of paying more attention on the like, you know, on what's missing. Because I think we usually focus on what's missing, and then when we look around, we actually realize how much we have and how blessed we are. And the last card, it's the Magician. The Magician is a wonderful card. It's the courage of being in full power of yourself, being able to manifest, actually, because it came for you, and the new moon is the time of writing new intentions. Maybe that's what I would suggest you to do. Write your intentions and see how they're going to manifest. Don't underestimate your own powers, your own magic powers, because I think if you wish something very, very intensely, and that's your fulfillment of wishes card, then the magician within you is awakened, and actually you can achieve it. So just remember about this. Remember that you are a magician yourself, and that with the new moon in your first house, you can actually embrace the magic and start creating the world you want for yourself, you know. The magician, it's always the figure of the magician. It's also always about, like, you know, being active and being responsible, you know. The magician, the difference between the magic thinking and the religious thinking is partly that religious thinking is exercised through prayer, you know. So you need to be in touch with the divine and kind of ask the divine to do the job for you, while the magician, like, you know, as we all know from fairy tales, the magician has the ability to change reality himself, you know. So it is basically telling yourself that you're the master of your own life, and again, that you're free to live however the hell you want. Okay, that was the message for Cancer. Cancer, next one is Leo. Leo, for you, the moon is 12th house. So with the new moon, especially new moon is the time of the complete darkness. For you, it might be a good idea to write the intentions to let go of something, yeah, because 12th house is the house of letting go, of getting rid of things, of cleansing, of purging. And so my advice to you, maybe just think of what you need to let go, and again, embrace it. Don't be upset by things that you need to go, but things that you need to change, by your losses. Take it as an adventure, take it as a positive sign, take it that the future has something better in store for you, you know. So let's see, what are your 3 cards for Leo? Yeah, that's pretty much exactly what I said. You got the Fool, darling. The Fool, number 0, 10 of Wands, and 5 of Pentacles. So yes, it's going to be a bit heartbreaking, but it's going to be fine. So look, yes, you need to release. because the Fool, it's number 0. Yeah, you know that Fool is the first card, even not the first, it's the 0 card of the tarot. So it is total stripping. You strip yourself from everything. You strip yourself from your clothes, you strip yourself from your, like, you know, I don't know, physical, like, you know, I don't know, environment, like, you know, it doesn't mean that you need to move houses, you know, it can be just sort of like mental perception, but definitely something needs to let go. And please do the kind of like the classification of different parts of your life, see what you would need to release and embrace that. It's exciting, to be honest. You are on point number 0 for something which is beautiful, like, you know, that's our life. Our lives consist of endings and beginnings. So, and it's not the Death card that came, meaning the kind of focusing on the closure. It is the Fool card, which is just the epitome of the new beginning, yeah? And Fool cards, they're always full of light, and they're always full of air. I absolutely love them. Every time you look at the Fool card, you kind of, as if, like, you know, you open the window and a gust, you know what I'm talking about, of wind, like the blast of wind comes and you can kind of breathe in with your full lungs. And the beautiful Fool is always surrounded by birds and by butterflies, because they mean the rejuvenation of soul, they mean the rebirth. So it's the new moon, it's your 12th house. Release things you don't need, embrace the darkness and move on. 10 of Wands, it's the other 2 hearts, they can be heavy, and it is possibly related to the fact that for us as humans it is difficult to let go. So 10 of Wands means responsibility. 10 of Wands means that you have 10 wands that you need to carry on the top of the mountain, but you are doing it for something. You don't carry 10 wands. Yes, of course, it is different. Not different, difficult. It is difficult, it is heavy, it is weighing, but you're bringing it for something. When we do lots of, like, you know, labor, it is for something. It is to build a house out of those 10 wands, like here, yeah? So it is like the woman, you see there is a woman and she has the whole city on her shoulders. So this is very difficult, but this is for something. This is for your future kingdom to thrive. This is to make a fire for you and your family, you know. This is to bring, like, those trunks of trees for your tribe, you know, for yourself, to be warm, to be secure, to build something, you know. And so you might feel overwhelmed, you might feel that it is too much pressure, too much difficulties, but in all fairness, this too shall pass. And Five of Pentacles is a card of financial lack, of financial challenges. So this might be the case. And basically, if that's not the case, it is kind of challenges in the material life, in the mundane life, in everyday life in general. So this is a difficult card to get, like, you know, it is kind of a sad card to get, like, you know, it is when you have kind of physical discomfort, you know, you're lacking something, you know, you are, and those two, they very much kind of correspond to each other, that you're overwhelmed with the whatever weight you're carrying on your shoulders, and then, like, you know, bits and pieces, like sometimes it seems too much, like, you know, and you can feel the lack and you can feel the loss. But look, this is just a stage you need to go through to get to this, because unfortunately there is no rebirth without getting rid of something, and that's your 12th house. So the message is very clear here, you know. Oh boy, Leo, if you are going through hardships, I'm with you. I'm very compassionate about this. It's difficult, yeah. It's very difficult sometimes, but look, you'll get through it. So just brace up. It will end one day, and you would be like a beautiful Fool, like free and jovial and full of energy. Next one is Virgo family. Hello, hello, hello. And for you, it is 11th house of your friends, of your social networks. Yeah, correct. So let's see, Virgo, what's in store for you. Virgo, you came into your own reading. You got the Hermit. Very interestingly, Virgo, you got the Queen of Cups, and you also got the King of Cups. So you got the divine couple. And you also, got the Hermit. So during this, interestingly, during this new moon, Venus is conjunct Mars. So kind of the divine couple, they're conjunct in the sky, which can mean like, you know, at the same time, Venus is kind of a little bit too heavily aspected to be thriving in those relationships. But in general, this, when the Venus and Mars are together, it's kind of like, you know, it can mean some rejuvenation of your love life. When the couple, king and queen, come, I usually take it as a very good sign if you're in the relationship, that there would be such a good balance, especially when it is king and queen of cups. Yeah, because cups, it's kind of the suit of love, the suit of emotions, the suit of feelings, mutual compassion, harmony, understanding. So if you're in the relationship, maybe this new moon actually would give you some, like, I don't know, some impact for your relationship to thrive, like, you know, especially sextiling Uranus. Maybe you would find like a new ways to love each other, because it's in the house of friends. Maybe you would spot a friend who actually can be more than a friend, who can be potentially a romantic partner. Or in general, to be honest, maybe this is just simply a card signifying good times with friends, you know, kind of, because the divine couple is not only about sex, yeah, it's not only about romantic relationship, it's also friendship, it's also like harmony of masculine, feminine, harmony of yin and yang, like, you know, what we have inside and what we kind of, I suppose, use when we communicate with the others, with our friends. So it always for me speaks of alignment and of harmony. And because both of them are so very good in everything which concerns feelings and communication, like the Queen of Cups, she's the queen of like, you know, she's the queen of emotions. She is highly intuitive. She is so, like, you know, she's so in touch with her feminine. She's so in touch with the moon. She's very in touch with mystic, with the hidden world, with the with the gut feeling, with the intuition, sixth sense. So probably, to be honest, this new moon also would be very good for your spiritual health, for your mental health, if you would like to connect deeper to yourself, to your divine feminine, divine masculine, to intuition. Do some rituals, do some, like, you know, pampering, especially water rituals, for example. This might be a very sweet time to do so. And the King of Cups, he's like the masculine personification of those ideals. So he's a peacemaker, you know, he's very artistic as well. So if you, I don't know if you, I think it will be a very good time for you to either do something artistic or partake in something artistic, especially with your friends, like, you know, to nurture your soul. Both the king and the queen, they are about nurturing your soul. The king more, like, you know, through communication and, like, you know, arts, and the queen through intuition and mystic things. So those are the two kind of parts which you might wish to explore with the kind of like this joint action of Uranus and Moon and Sun in Cancer. And the Hermit, it's you. So maybe this moon will give you some break, like, you know, and would allow you to get more in alignment with yourself. But the Hermit is a monk, you know, so it is again something very quiet and very spiritual and very kind of soul nurturing again. So I think the message is so tight for you Virgos. The Hermit is about harnessing the light within you, lighting the candle within you and supporting the flame, and shining bright through the darkness. Yeah, if you feel Hermit is also technically about taking a break, like, you know, not seeing anyone and staying in seclusion, staying in your house. So if this is something you are drawn to, actually, then you might be very good time as well to just lie low and be yourself and explore yourself, explore your intuition, just, I don't know, draw, sing, play musical instruments, something like this, if this is possible, of course, if that's something you are drawn to. Next one is Libra. Libra for you, Cancer, is your 10th house. 10th house is the house of career. So maybe with the sextile from Uranus, maybe some changes in your career are on the way. Let's see what the cards have to tell about this. Yeah, actually, very cool. You got Ace of Swords. Ace of Swords is new beginning, related to swords, to the mental. Nine of Wands. Nine of Wands is a very vigilant card as well. And Lovers. Lovers is a lovely card to get. So to be honest, yeah, so the moon in your 10th house, the full moon, is sextile Uranus in Taurus. Uranus, as you know, is all about revolution and change, and it's in your career house. So what cards have for you to tell you is that there might be really a very fascinating new beginning, especially if, I don't know, if this is part of your profession, or in general your profession kind of associated with what the swords suit represents. So it is everything mental and everything verbal. So it can be teaching, it can be lecturing, it can be writing, it can be journaling, I don't know, it can be everything related to communication, PR, selling things, yeah, sales, Instagramming, you know, like social media, what else, advertising, you know. So if something like this, I think, might get a new development, a new kind of kick from the Uranus to start in any way. You got the new beginnings card, which is exciting. What swords as well mean clarity, you know. So if you couldn't come up to some decision, swords, they kind of like bring this air, they bring air and light, and the fog is gone, so you can see clearly. And actually the next card is about it, because Nine of Wands, especially in this deck, it is about being vigilant. Nine of Wands can imply certain wariness, you know, that you're a little bit too tired of waiting, too tired of see clearly. But in this deck, in this card, you can see that it is a watchman. It is a watchman, so he's sitting on some fantastic animal, he's looking at the horizon, he needs to be alert, like, you know, he needs to be vigilant. So stay agile, you know, to be able to see maybe the new piece of information coming your way, which can also be meant by this card. So new piece of information. And I think if you manage to kind of catch your moment, the results will be amazing, because the Lovers card, it's not only about love, it's also about harmony. It is about alignment with yourself, with the others. It is about perfect mutual understanding, mutual support, not necessarily with your love partner, but maybe, I don't know, maybe your love partner would play a role in your career change. But on the other hand, abstractly, this card just means bliss. It means bliss, it means fulfillment, it means alignment and union, you know. And union doesn't necessarily need to be romantic. It can be also a work union. It can be very good, very like, you know, enriching, nurturing relationships with your work partners, with people around you, or basically with yourself when you reach a certain stage within you, when you feel very comfortable. So what we've done already, 4 signs, and so far the messages has been really good, weren't they? Yeah, I think that this moon, it will have its challenges, but I also think that the sextile, it's actually something very exciting. And in general, moons likes to be in Cancer, so I have high expectations for this moon. Next one is Scorpio. Yeah, Scorpio, for you, it is your 9th house. I find 9th house very exciting because I resonate with it. So 9th house is the house of higher learning. It's the house of changing your perspective, changing your philosophical system, being a seeker of truth, being a seeker of knowledge, becoming a philosopher, becoming a thinker, you know. So it's about high learning, it's about education, it's about institution, It's about, I don't know, discovering new paths, which I think is absolutely brilliant. Very, very exciting. So, Scorpio. So you guys got the 10 of Swords. Something comes to an end. 8 of Cups is actually about going deep within. And the Emperor. 9 of House is the house of Sag, yeah. So Sag, it is like a spark in the air, the spark which kind of wants to go beyond the bonfire, the spark that wants to explore more. And the Uranus, which hits the lightning in your 9th house, it is this revolution. So lots of things are wrapping up. In a nutshell, you look deep within and you find your stronghold there. 9 of Swords, yeah, 9 of Swords, it is this card which many people don't like, because usually it is, you know, it is this corpse with 10 swords from the card, you know. Here I think here the card is very dramatic. You can see there is a young woman. She has a cloak of the kind of blood color, and there are like those 10 birds which are kind of like, I don't know, either they're flying from her chest, you know. So, and I like this imagery because it is not that the swords are piercing you, it is that you're releasing. 10 of Swords, okay, it can represent immense sorrow and immense loss, but it is also 10. 10 is the last card in the row of tarot before the court cards, so it means wrapping up things. It means conclusion. It means that it has been tough. You probably went through many losses, through many reconsiderations, and you release lots of birds from your chest, so to speak. You let go of many things, you know. Some of them were easier to release, some of them were very hard to release, but that's it. That's it, like, you know, it is wrapping up. This stage is basically coming to a closure, coming to an end. And although you went through lots of pain, probably you became wiser, you became more free, you became more liberated, like, you know, because all those lessons are absolutely valuable, of course. So some things are coming to an end. There is also the moon here. I don't know if you could see it, like, you know, the kind of like the reversed moon here, which is also about waning. Yeah, so something is waning, something is being kind of coming to an end, kind of coming to a closure. And the next step that you would usually do is 8 of Cups. 8 of Cups, you know, it is basically leaving things behind and moving on. 8 of Cups can mean relocation, it can mean travel, because travel is something I believe that allows us to understand ourselves better, that allows us to see things in a new light, from a new perspective. Or it is basically, and I think in this card it is so obvious, that it can be a journey within. Again, you release, you see, she lets her cups are your past emotions, past feelings, past experiences. She lets them flow, she gets rid of them, and she has only one cup full. And with it she has, you see here, a lamp on her front, and she goes deep within, to the darkness, but she has this light and the full cup to bring her light into the darkness, to explore the dark parts of her soul, to figure out what it is that needs to be released, that needs to be let go, and, like, you know, what are the things that she has within her soul. So yes, it is either very literal, moving in and letting go, or it is just those two cards. They are very similar in their energy. This one is a little bit more dramatic, this one is more kind of not rational, but sort of like, you know, considered, like balanced probably. Yeah, so not that much drama. You just release and you kind of do the reconsideration of what are your new options, you know. You come to know yourself better, and after all this is done, you have the Emperor. And the Emperor, he's the ruler of his own kingdom, so you're given the green light to release all those things you don't want and to start building your own new kingdom. And especially if you're relocating, you know, or something, if you're thinking of relocation or of change of job or something like this, or of, I don't know, breaking free from relationship or so, the Emperor is a very stabilizing card because it is number 4, and 4, it is the, you know, it's the number of stability, you know, because there are 4 corners of the earth, like, you know, the table has 4 legs, you know, so it is the it's a number of the stable points, you know, so it's the structure. So things, even if now things are a little bit too watery, things will start structuring for yourself, and you will come, like, you know, into the kind of ownership of your own world, of your own kingdom, you know. You will feel definitely much more control of the situation, you will have more power, you will feel more responsibility of the situation and people involved. But on the other hand, you definitely will feel more power, like, you know, like, as here he holds this ball, it's like the world is your oyster, my friend, you know. The Emperor, it's also Aries, so go check. I don't know, like, you know, which house for you is Aries. I'm really sorry, I would be able to count that quickly, but check what house for you is Aries, and maybe something in that realm also would need checking, you know, just in case, double checking or releasing, to be honest. Yeah, because you got 2 release cards. Next one is Sagittarius. Sagittarius, for you, it is your 8th house. So it is your 8th house of Scorpio, yeah, so of hidden secrets, of hidden information, of things coming to the surface. So let's see what is happening for you. You got Page of Pentacles, 9 of Cups, fulfillment of wishes as well, how sweet, and 5 of Swords. So Sag, yeah. So the moon will definitely bring you more stability and possibly even some new beginnings. And new beginnings, I think, are very much in place because the moon in your 8th house is sextile Uranus and Taurus. So lots of revolutionary things, lots of unexpected things, but also some changes might be in place. Pages are always very symbolize new beginnings because pages are kings, they're the youngest of the court cards, and Page of Pentacles, like, you know, he's the earth page, yeah, so he actually can be Capricorn, Taurus, or Virgo, or someone that you would know. Probably it is like the transit in your own chart. But technically speaking, it would mean kind of new beginnings in the material realm. So you can see, especially it's a new moon, for new moon we write new intentions, we see the seeds of our intentions sown. So maybe the Page of Pentacles would kind of mean the seeds actually being planted for this new moon. Write some of your new intentions for this new moon, especially related to the material, to financial, to your physical health, you know, to your appearance, to your I don't know, everything physical, yeah, everything mundane. And hopefully they will grow, because pages, they're all about planting seeds and seeing them grow. So very possibly, like, you know, you can start a new project at work, you can do, I don't know, but even simple things like, I don't know, change your wardrobe, or change, like, you know, your physical appearance a bit, I don't know, cut your hair or something. So there is a very well measured, like, you know, but probably less exciting than other pages, because Pentacles, they are very kind of heavy and slow, like, you know, not as excited. It's probably like Page of Cups or something, but nonetheless, like, you know, there are some changes coming and you need to embrace them. And then there is Nine of Cups. And Nine of Cups is the fulfillment of wishes, you know. Nine of Cups is also the card of the great depth, because it is speaking about cups, yeah, the suit of emotions and feelings at one of its latest grades, yeah. So the next card, it's only 10 of Cups. And because it is happening in the Scorpionic house for you, so in the 8th house of hidden things, of, like, you know, of subconscious, of the occult, of mystic, of kind of transcendental, you might actually experience a very big, like, download, or a very big, like, I don't know, intuitive and emotional vigilance or alertness, or, like, you know, kind of discover the depth within you that you didn't know existed. And Moon feels very comfortable in Cancer, and Moon is, of course, about the hidden things and about the occult things. So maybe if like you are trying to receive an answer to some question, it might even be like a good idea to, I don't know, to how to say, get consultations from more like alternative sources, like, you know, from a reader, or from how to say, all of those practitioners, you know what I'm talking about, like, you know, but basically to discover more sources within you, because Nine of Cups, it's all about that you have Nine of Cups. I already was speaking of it because I think Cancer got it or someone else got it, but basically the card speaks that all the areas of your life, different areas, they represented as cups, and Nine of Cups is fulfillment of wishes, because all of those cups suddenly become full. But sometimes they're actually full, but we don't see it. Sometimes they're half full, which is nice enough, but we still don't see it. So it also involves lots of kind of work and actually looking out for things to see, like, you know, to actually be grateful for what we have, and to see that maybe we actually have enough. And then your last card is Five of Swords. Five of Swords means strife, and especially in the house of the hidden things. So maybe, like, you know, with the Uranus striking its lightning there, you would get some piece of information that, like, you know, would be totally unexpected to you, that would take you off guard in a way. But the remedy for this card is just like stay your ground. Basically, don't let yourself be shaken from whatever unexpected things might happen. Swords usually mean verbal communication, or some piece of information, or some, like, something you would get online, or something, like, you know, can mean bullying or something. But your thing is that you get your stability from those two. From the, on the one hand, material, grounded, solid new beginnings, and the deeper introspection, you know, deeper self-awareness. I think that when we are self-aware, that when we kind of practice this kind of staying alert, staying oh Christ, like I lost half of my cards. Oh boy. Yeah, so when we practice this, I think that we become so much more resistant to, I don't know, to negativity on behalf of other people, and also to some, like, you know, unexpected turns of things, so, which is very nice. Next one is Capricorn. So you're also a player of this new moon, because the axis Capricorn Cancer is activated. This is your 7th house, obviously. 7th house is the house of relationship, of, like, you know, marriages and partnerships. So, and it is nice. It's nice, like, you know, to have a new moon, something, like, you know, to something probably to renew, something to feel excited about, to get some new energy, to get, like, shaken a little bit in that realm. Because, like, I believe, after all, we are all social animals. We depend on the others, and we very much depend on the relationship with the others. Capricorn, you got, focus for me, you got Queen of Swords. This clarity. You also got the Hanged Man. Hanged Man is very Uranian as well. Then you also got Five of Swords, same as Sagittarius. Yeah. So Queen of Swords. Queen of Swords usually means Queen of Swords, like, you know, she is she can be very cold, she can be very strict. On the one hand, I think that she's a very self-assured, and not self-assured like in the same manner as Queen of Wands would be, like, you know, which is like very brave and sassy. She is like, you know, she's so self-composed, and see, she's so self-assured, and she's like, you know, she's a little bit of a colder queen. She's a very rational queen. She's a cold and rational queen, and she's very vocal. She is very well articulated. So maybe this is, I don't know, a role, kind of like, how to say, a new kind of strategy of communication with the others to try. In general, the Queen of Swords, she is the queen of effective communication, which brings out truth, which allows like to distinguish true from false, which allows to see clearly, which allows to see people who they are. At the same time, she's not afraid of like cut the relationships with other people who she doesn't want to have the relationship with. At the same time, she is always very ready to build communication with the others, you know, because she's the queen of speaking and thinking. So she's very rational. It's the relationships built on the basis of not like emotions and like, you know, minute things, but on a more solid and stable ground. And I think because Capricorn is the earth sign, but nonetheless, all those like the philosophy of the air suit, of the suit of swords, I think fits Capricorn also very well, like, you know. So maybe it is time to actually be Capricorn less emotional, less kind of prone to the changes of the wind, but basically, like, you know, to hold yourself and to voice your concerns, to be brave, to be sometimes maybe too direct. But maybe this is the strategy you would need to accept. And in any way, the Hanged Man, you know, the Hanged Man can mean delays. And this moon, it has the potential to bring in delays and some frustrations, because Venus is heavily aspected, if I'm not mistaken, by like Saturn and something else. And kind of there might be some uneasiness in the air. But on the other hand, the Hanged Man is not only about like sacrificing yourself or uneasiness, it is also about turning the situation 180 degrees. So started thinking differently, considering differently, like seeing everything in a new life, thinking unconventionally, thinking out of the box, and probably coming with new solutions for your own benefit. So you see, you got Queen of Swords, then you also got Five of Swords, yeah, same as Sag, just got Five of Swords, yeah. And I was shuffling. So Five of Swords, it can mean verbal strife, it can mean conflicts, it can mean some like kind of like friction with other people. If this is the case, Five of Swords, especially supported by the Queen of Swords, if it is a challenge with something related to communication, this is kind of your card to go. So like, you know, there is a challenge, but there is also a solution straight away. So Five of Swords, and I look at this guy, he's like Legolas from Lord of the Rings. He's like an elf, like, you know, and here he attacks, like, you know, he is not he's not afraid to be challenged. He's not afraid to challenge. And in all fairness, challenge is not a bad thing. When you're, especially when you're intellectually challenged, when you're given like, you know, some stimulus to rethink your position, which is actually the Hanged Man, to like, you know, to see things in a new light, that's very good. If someone challenges you vainly out of the love for strife, basically everything is said by this card. Just don't even take it close to the heart. You didn't get any heart cards anyway, because it's all very rational for Capricorn for this new moon. And so yeah, we'll see how it will go. Next one is Aquarius. Yeah, so Aquarius, for you, the new moon is in your 6th house. It's the house of health. A new moon is all about new beginnings and changing things and writing intentions. I think this year, with the, like, you know, since the whole transits into Aquarius started, you have Saturn now. I mean, it's life-changing. It's very tough. Like, you know, I, as a Capricorn, we've been through this for the past 3 years, and you're just starting this pressure cooker, like, you know, process. I hope you're doing well, but like with the new moon in your 6th house, I think it's really wonderful idea to take more care of your health, like, you know. So let's see, well, for your routine and your health. So let's see what the cards are for Aquarius for the new moon in your 6th house. Cool. So you got 8 of Pentacles, you got Temperance, and the Hierophant. And all those cards, they kind of scream of patience, 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 moderation. Don't rush things. If that's not perfect now, it will. Just don't give up before it actually improves. 8 of Pentacles. I love that this card came for you guys, because usually 8 of Pentacles, you know, the whole suit of Pentacles, it is about planting the seed, then taking care of the seed, and then getting the harvest, the like 8 and 9 of Pentacles. But this 8 of Pentacles, it's also about slow work, because here there is a spider, and spider is building his kingdom, the web, and that's a very energy taking. It's a slow process. You can't speed it up. It is a meticulous spinning of the thread. It is like, you know, you cannot make it faster than it is. So your same with the harvest. When you plant the seeds, whatever you will be doing, the berries or the fruit would not appear faster than they're meant to be out, you know. So this card teaches you that it is growing. Your harvest is growing. It's just that the results are not always visible. You plant the seed and it is dark and you don't see it appearing, but it is growing. The process is going. It's just very slow. So don't worry if, like, you know, you feel like you're stuck, you feel like your routine is eating you alive. Like, you know, if you have, like, I don't know, health issues or something, things are happening. You're not stuck. It's just that maybe it is not visible. But the Temperance card came here to help you. The Temperance card is here to show you that it is step by step. The pace is very different for all people. We don't experience same things at the same age. We don't experience, like, even, like, you know, even when we have a common experience, we all experience it differently and with a different speed. So Temperance, it is on the one hand to sorry, it is here to remind you that things can be moderate, but the things are meant to be moderate. They cannot and they should not be rushed. That the alchemical process of the alchemical transformation is happening. It is there for you. The results are again merging, growing, but as with any chemical process, again, when you're mixing something, I don't know, if you're doing, I don't know, salt crystals or something, they will grow and they will grow. You cannot speed up alchemy either. And our life is nothing but alchemy. Like, you know, it is this transformation of things in a mysterious ways. God works in mysterious ways, right? And Temperance is just for us to allow this process naturally to happen and to unfold, and to give ourselves time to accept, to patiently wait, to accept the slow pace, to accept, like, you know, that sometimes time is required. And I think this should take partially the stress which is related to the fact that you might feel uncomfortable. Of course, it's naturally that you want things to improve, but they are improving. It's just that they're not always visible. And sometimes, like, you know, you don't know. Sometimes our worst things that we go through and we'll go back at them, we're very grateful for them, because actually it brought you lots of good eventually, like, you know. So you never know. And then the last card is the Hierophant. The Hierophant, he's the Pope. He means hierarchy. He means learning. He means higher learning, institute, like how to say, like learning institutions, you know, and your place within it. So, like, you know, if it also means philosophical systems, it means organized religion. So maybe actually some religious practices would be, or some, like, you know, some new learning, something to distract your brain would be helpful in this situation. On the other hand, the Hierophant is the source of infinite wisdom, which comes from our roots, from our ancestors, and hence this Hierophant here, he's actually the tree man. Yeah, so it probably makes sense to, I don't know, start practicing something like, you know, some traditional ways of medicine, traditional ways of, I don't know, controlling your stress level, like put, like, you know, yoga breath techniques, I don't know, going to a mass or something, like, you know, depends on your I'm liking words today, on your confessional, like, you know, choices. And another thing with the Hierophant is that Hierophant is a very stable card, because it's the card of Taurus, and Taurus, it's all about having your feet on the ground, grounding yourself very properly, you know, and not letting the minute swings take you away. So all those cards, they're all about allowing things to happen slowly. Have patience, have like time to grow. All of your cards, they have this slowness in them, because even this tree, Hierophant tree, grows very slowly, you know, extremely slowly. So allow things to unfold naturally, don't speed things up, have patience. And if you try to accept things the way they are, I think this would help you in your 6th house metros, because as we know, all diseases come from stress. A lot of like health issues. Even if you don't have any health issues, still I think we are all constantly stressed. Next one is Pisces. Pisces, for you, the moon is happening in your 5th house of romance, of children, of creative self-expression. So that's going to be very lovely, I'm sure. Let's have a look what's in store for you, Pisces. Cool. So you got Knight of Swords, you got the Magician as well, and you got King of Cups. So to be honest, you are given, like, you know, I think it's gonna be a fantastic moon for you. My moon is in Pisces, so I'm happy, you know, and the moon is in Cancer now. So look, it is the house of bliss, it is the house of joy, it is the house of creativity. Yeah, Knight of Swords. Knight of Swords actually means mental intensity. Swords is the suit of speaking and thinking, the suit of air, and Knight, it is rushing, like, you know, Knight, he's galloping his horse, and the Knight of Swords, he's the fastest of the Knights of Tarot. So first of all, it might mean that the unexpected piece of information would come your way. But because the moon is sextiling Uranus, and Uranus gives this, like, you know, intense, electrifying kind of like vibe to the new moon, it also might mean that your intellectual processes would speed up, especially the intellectual processes related to all things probably related to the 5th house, especially, like, you know, if this is about something artistic, or it is about, like, you know, you have a kind of creative work, for example, like, you know, your business is related to arts or to creativity or to expressing themselves, you can actually get a totally new ideas of how to make things, or new ideas of how to advertise things, or like, you know, you would get a missing piece of information for the project you're about to start. Like, I don't know, you can get a new collaborator or something, like, you know. Or if we speak of the 5th house as the 5th house of relationships, again, it is like the Knight of Swords. You can even get the feeling, imagine you're having, it's actually, that's how the quest for the Holy Grail starts in the medieval French, like, you know, novel, yeah, like account, that like the knights are having kind of dinner, yeah, at the table, and then the doors open and a person riding a horse appears in the dining hall. So it is this messenger, and you know that messenger in Greek, it is angelos, yeah, so because angels are messengers, you know. So you can get some message, you know, you can get something exciting, something unexpected, some some inspiration, you know, for doing things, for like, you know, for loving in a new way and creating in a new way and being yourself in a new way as well. And this is such a fast card, so it is like, you know, as a fresh wind is just coming into the room. It's absolutely beautiful. And then you also got the magician. The magician is always, and I mean all artists are magicians, because the idea of being a magician is create something which wasn't here before. And it is true for creating children, yeah, for being a parent. It is true for also being a parent of, like, you know, creative things, being a parent of being an artist or being a poet, you know, when you create something from nothing. But I think the magician, it's also accepting ourselves the way we are. It's such an empowering and accepting card. It's basically kind of you are telling yourself, okay, I'm on it. I can do it. I can reach it. I have all the potential within me. I'm the creator of my own life. I am, like, you know, I'm responsible for my life. I do not need to pray. I do not need to perform rituals, because everything is within me. The divine is within me. It is this kind of very fin de siècle, very beginning of the 20th century. They were very much playing with those ideas that I am God, like, you know, lots of like composers and artists of the time and poets. That was kind of their manifesto, that humans should realize themselves as gods. That's pretty much the vibe of the magician cards, like, you know, that he creates something, some like green ball of energy between his palms, like, you know, he becomes a channel for the creation of the new. So it is very liberating. And then the King of Cups, the final card, it is basically you, because King of Cups can be Cancer, Pisces, or Scorpio. So kind of in a way you came into your own reading. And King of Cups, he's the most artistic, like, you know, he's a peacemaker. But the kind of archetype of the King of Cups is an artist. It is someone very artistic. It can be an actor, can be a poet, but you don't need to work in a creative professions. This can also mean perception of the world through the eye of the artist, you know, kind of opening your channels and seeing the world as this limitless source of potentials, of the beauty, like, you know, of inspiration. So to be honest, all your cards are very empowering. It's a very beautiful and very kind of heavily charged reading, and it's all about kind of just being free and opening yourself, like, you know, cracking like a ripened fruit, you know, and giving yourself freedom to express yourself, to express who you want to be. That's beautiful. It's probably Pisces got an extra charged message, because after all, Moon also rules Pisces. Moon is in Cancer now. It's your fellow water sign, so it is kind of very nice. Next one is Aries. Aries, for you, the new moon is happening in your 4th house of excuse me. Of friends and family, or of not friends, of family, of your parents, of home, of your physical home, of your siblings. So let's see what the Cancer would bring for the Aries this time. You got Page of Cups. You also got Three of Cups. And you got Justice. This moon seems for me to be very emotional for you, in a good way though. And also very balancing. Because Page of Cups, it is the new beginning in your emotional life. So you might expect that, especially in such a delicate house as the 4th house, maybe this moon will actually bring more harmony into your relationship with your household, into the way how you function within your household, or maybe just within you in general, because our body is the home, the house of our soul, you know. And Page of Cups is probably the most sensitive, the most mystic of all pages. He's like, you know, he is this delicate young man who just like, you know, discovers the feelings within. So it is kind of as if being a teenager again. You feel your emotional life kind of like waking up from the lethargy of your childhood, because children, they're not very emotional intelligent. Kind of like we start discovering, like, you know, the very deep and complicated emotional abyss within us when we start growing. But we kind of renovate our vows during our adult life as well. So we have this also potential to kind of rejuvenate again, because it's an ever renewing, ever young, like, you know, world that we have within us. And so you're definitely invited to kind of reconsider something within your emotional world. And you also got the Three of Cups. Three of Cups, it's reconnecting with your friends. It's the heart of bliss. It's the heart of good times with friends, understanding, like, you know, just sort of like those three ladies, like drinking together. But, you know, the three ladies with cups is the old symbol of, like, you know, three gracious. So those three spirits of grace, of, like, you know, everything beautiful, of spring, of again rejuvenation and the rebirth of new life, like, you know. So it is in a way kind of washing your soul in those fresh clean waters, and feeling supported by the others and feeling understood by the others. And you also got Justice. Justice is the Libra card. Justice implies the notion of the purity of heart, because justice is related to the Egyptian ritual of weighing of the scales of Maat, of weighing the heart, you know. So your heart needs to be pure for you to enter the eternal life after the court of Osiris. So justice implies this purification of heart, but it also implies balancing things. It also means that justice will be served for you. If you feel that something is unfair or unjust to you, it means that things would start going into the direction that the just solution would be brought to you. This card, by definition, is obviously very karmic, because karmic is the law of justice, yet the kind of law of you receive pretty much what you have given. But this beautiful card here, Libra, Libra as itself, Libra is our collective 7th house. It implies the notion of successful communication with the others. And I think the Three of Cups also, of course, implies this. So all three cards, they're very balancing and very harmonizing. And I truly wish this would be the case for you, for the beautiful new moon in Cancer in your 4th house. So let's hope this will become true for Aries. Next one is Taurus. Taurus, for you, Cancer, it is your 3rd house. The 3rd house, it is the Gemini house, so it is the house of speaking, the house of the throat chakra, the house of truth, finding our voice. And it's nice to get the new moon in this house, because new moon, it is the time of darkness, it's the time of setting the intention, the time of new beginnings. And I think it kind of always gives it a chance to refine our voice, to, like, you know, to find new ways of voicing ourselves. You also got the Magician. Lots of signs got the Magician today. It's going to be a magic card because Cancer is very mystical. Moon, of course, it's for magic and mysticism. But Taurus, bingo, you got 3 major arcana. It's insane. You got the Magician. You got the World. And you got the Tower. Okay. So many things to say. I'll start with the last one because the oh, of course, that's why you got it. Because this new moon in Cancer is sextiled by the Uranus and Taurus. That's why you got lots of cards, lots of signs during this reading. Got new beginnings, got new pieces of information coming, lots of swords, like, you know, but you got the Tower, and Tower is a card of Uranus because, of course, Uranus is in your sign. Bingo, now it becomes clear. So the Tower, the Tower is Uranus in tarot. It means that Uranus charges, sends, shoots his lightning into something, and the Tower is shattered, and the Tower falls to the ground and burns down. So but it's always very good, especially it's not a hard aspect. The moon is sextiling, the new moon is sextiling Uranus in your first house. So the Uranus actually brings the remedy for this new moon, which can be frustrated by other aspects from Saturn, for example. And the Uranus comes as a savior, you know, so it is the lightning which doesn't kill. Everyone is afraid of Tower, but I think this is the lightning which actually kills the monster under your bed. It would destroy something that you do not need. It would bring the fresh air. It would allow you to bring, like, you know, Uranus, he's the god of air, so Uranus is associated with air. So something will, not necessarily during the new moon, give it half a year at least, like, you know, till the full moon in Cancer or something, like, you know, at least a month, to see what is this function of Uranus. But something, don't be afraid, something you don't need would be just charged and killed, like, you know, and you will benefit from it because the planet which you host right now is sextiling, it's sextiling the moon, so it is obviously a very beneficial aspect. And then with this, you will come to a closure, but to a very fulfilling closure. The World is the last card of tarot, so the World card is all about the fulfillment, the achievement, the actually, like, you know, that the plan you were kind of building for so long, the path has come to an end, you won, like, you know, it's very exciting. This card is absolutely beautiful. So the World card is it can mean big changes, to be honest, because it can mean the ending of one status, and the next card is a Fool, the desire to find new image, new status for yourself. The World can mean relocation for work, relocation for marriage, changing countries, changing cities, changing professions. So it can mean very radical change, especially paired with the Tower. But because it is in the 3rd house of speaking, actually it is probably the time to have a very open, very, like, you know, trustful conversation with yourself, to build this dialogue, to figure out what you really want, which parts of your life needs to be closed and totally, like, you know, kind of wrapped up for you to start something new. And then you get the Magician. I'm kind of reading the cards from the end to the beginning, but the Magician was in fact the first card that came for you. And the Magician, I don't need to say many things about it. I already said many things about it, because Pisces definitely got a Magician. I think Cancer got a Magician. The Magician is accepting the responsibility that you can build for yourself the world that you want, that you have all the sources within you, you have all the powers within you, you have emotional stability, you have creativity, you have, like, grounded security, you have the sharp intellect, yeah, so all the 4 suits of tarot, you have them all, and you do not need help from someone else. You are actually in the absolute position to start building what you want for yourself. That's the card of manifestation. So in case you want something, in case you want to achieve something, new moon is the magical time for setting new intentions, for writing down what you really want. So maybe write down on a piece of paper what you'd like to achieve, come up with a solution. Like, you know, it's about, third house is about words, it's about voicing, it's about chanting. Write down things, do your sigil based on your intentions, chant your intentions, chant mantras, I don't know. You can do something vocal to help you realize the power within you, that you're the magician and you're gonna build the new world that you want. And the liberation from the Uranus is here for you to destroy the buildings you don't need. Very beautiful message to post. Very beautiful message for Taurus. But I think because Taurus is a big player with the Uranus sextiling, I think that's why Taurus got kind of an extra cool. Pisces also got a very cool one, I think. In general, all the messages were very positive. I think it's going to be a sweet moon despite some difficulties. And now, last but not least, is Gemini. Gemini for you, Cancer, is your second house of finances. But there is a trick to this house. My cards kept falling today. Yeah, so there is a trick for this house, that the amount of money you will get depends on how you value yourself. So that's a very important thing to become. So self-value comes first. Oh, sweet. You got King of Swords. Lots of people got swords today, because swords is a suit of air and Uranus is the planet of air. You got Two of Cups, the love card, and you got Three of Cups. All the cards are very harmonizing, yeah? So King of Swords, he's a kind of no bullshit king, like, yeah? He is the king of rational perception of the world. He is the king. He's very intellectual. He's very grounded. Like, you know, he sees through people. He's very smart. And in general, this king is all very much about finding new ways for you as a human, as you sing. So there is this, like, you know, there is this, what's the name of this, Vitruvian man, yeah, Vitruvian man. So this perfect human being, you know, because you know that it is an anatomically perfect shape, you know, and that's kind of what that's what King of Swords is. It is about this intellectual perfection. It is about everything thought through, everything so well balanced. It is about like perfection, mastering perfection. Because it is in your financial house, it is maybe time to actually rationally approach the questions of how you make money, how it might be improved, how, like, you know, you may kind of reach new stages through balancing things perfectly in a very rational way, like, you know, in a very clear way, in a very transparent way as well, in something that resonates as very truthful for you. So there is definitely some work like this. But then to another thing is that, okay, Venus is somehow aspected very heavily by Saturn, and Venus is of course representing money, and Venus is also conjunct Mars. So kind of the financial matters may be a little bit compromised, but look, you don't be afraid of it, because King of Swords, like, you know, just be King of Swords. If this happens to you, King of Swords is rational, so it is no impulsive purchases, it is no kind of like throwing money around. It is all about like very kind of mastermind consideration of your situation. But to be honest, other cards, they are very harmonizing, because Two of Cups and Three of Cups, yes, so they came kind of naturally. Two of Cups, it is the harmony between you and the romantic partner, so it is the card of romance, it is the card of perfect understanding between you and the others. And Three of Cups, it is good times with friends, frankly speaking. So it is the card of reunion. It is the card of going to a pub together and just having a blast, you know. So all of those cards, they provide kind of very comforting, very simple human joys. Like, I don't know, having a romantic dinner with your partner and then having a party with friends. Things that we sometimes take for granted, while in fact they're very important for us. They are like, you know, they are like the pillars of our life, to be surrounded by people you love. So in case sorry, you're my last sign. I'm really tired of talking for 2 hours. It's difficult, so my throat got very dry. But basically, like, you know, if that's the case, if there are some hardships with finances, because of course King of Swords can also mean like hardships, because it's a very demanding card, those two, they provide like sweet home, like, you know, sweet, joyful, like, you know, perspective. So remember that there are simple joys in life. Sometimes the simple joy is, I don't know, just to buy a coffee in town and meet your friend, or like, you know, to buy bubble tea and walk a bit and just look around and see other people having some, like, you know, talking and having some good time, especially now with the restrictions being a little bit eased pretty much everywhere. So those are two very sweet cards. They just not much to say. Like, it's the card of love and the card of bliss and comfort, which comes from the emotional satisfaction, harmony, union with the people who are around you. So this is all very, very nice, isn't it? All the cards we had today for all the signs were very nice. I'm very happy about it. So look, guys, I think that the moon is going to be very, very, very sweet moon, very mystical moon, very empowering moon, very liberating moon. So yeah, let's allow ourselves be free. Let's allow ourselves embrace our differences, embrace the differences of others, and eventually strive for a more accepting society for all of us. I'm wishing you a very good moon. I hope that it will bring you lots of joy, lots of good things, lots of like comfort, like a mother's hug, you know, like Cancers would do. And I'll see you in 2 weeks time, and as always, leave me comments and let me know what you think, how you experience it. I'll see you soon in 2 weeks time. Talk to you then. Bye.